Welcome back to our NCAA football win total series, and we continue in the Sun Belt. We've got Coastal Carolina next, and Coastal Carolina made the jump to FBS in the Sun Belt in 2017, and it didn't start well. Jamey Chadwell led them to a 3-9 year, 5-7 under Joe Maglia in 2018. Chadwell's back in 2019, again 5-7, but then back-to-back 11-win seasons under Chadwell. He wins 9 games in 2022, heads off to Liberty. 2023, Tim Beck shows up. And last year was a solid year for Tim Beck. They opened up with a loss at UCLA, but then beat Jacksonville State and Duquesne before losing to Georgia State and at Georgia Southern. Then they'd roll off 5 straight wins at App State, at Arkansas State, Marshall, at ODU, Texas State. They lost at Army 28-21, and then they lose to James Madison the last game of the year. Went to the Hawaii Bowl, would beat San Jose State. It was an 8-5 year for Coastal Carolina in Tim Beck's first year. Tim Beck is back this year, but gone is Grayson McCall. Grayson McCall, a huge part of the resurgence for Coastal Carolina. They have to have a new quarterback now. Ethan Vasco is the leading option right now. He was the backup last year, 779 yards, 7 scores, an interception, and running for 368 in his time last year. They bring in Michigan State transfer Noah Kim as well. Noah Kim can play pretty well. He got some limited time in Michigan State. It'll be interesting to see who wins that battle. I think it's going to be Vasco. Regardless, they've got to be able to move around. They've got to work with a brand new receiving corps. Sam Pickney's gone. Jared Brown's gone. Jameson Tucker is the leading receiver coming back. Kyle Duplessis is also back. They do need some help at wide receiver. Tight ends aren't great. Offensive line brings back 3 starters. They've got good depth there. They're going to have a good rotation. They did lose running back C.J. Beasley, but he was primarily the backup. Braden Bennett is back, and so is New Mexico transfer Christian Washington. Defense was hit and miss last year. They had some really good games, some really bad games. The issue was getting pressure on the quarterback. There's not a lot of depth in the front 3. They run a 3-3-5 system, but they have 2 outside linebackers in Shane Bruce and Braylon Ryan that are pretty good. The secondary isn't great, but it's not bad. Clayton Isabel's gone. He was the free safety last year, but Abraham Timoni is back. Tobias Fletcher and Jawan Powell are pretty good as well at the safety spot. They have 2 great corners in Matthew McDoom and Keontae Lusk. This should be a pretty solid team as long as they can not shy away from the run game, which is an issue that Tim Beck had last year. They'll be pretty solid and have a balanced attack. We look at the schedule this year, and they open up at Jacksonville State. I lean win, but that is a toss-up against Rich Rod. Depends on how their run defense does. September 7th, they'll beat William & Mary, and then they go to Temple and win again. September 21st, they host the University of Virginia. I have that as a toss-up. Virginia's not that good. They could pull the upset there before the bye. And then they play October 5th against Old Dominion. They should win there. Short week, though. October 10th, they're at James Madison. Probably a loss before they come home the 19th against Louisiana before another bye. Head to Troy on November 2nd. Definitely a toss-up there. Home against App State. App State's coming off a short week that week. Probably a toss-up, lean to loss. At Marshall, November 16th. And then they close out with Georgia Southern at home and then Georgia State on the road. The win total sitting at 6.5 everywhere. Slight juice in most places, the under. A few have it even money. I look at this team, though, and I think it's a 7 to 8 win team. You know, you look back at the schedule, they could easily start 5-0, and if they start 5-0, they're getting 7, they're getting 8. Even if they start 4-1, I could see them getting 8, if not more. I really like this Coastal Carolina squad. I think Tim Beck's a great coach. We're going to go ahead and take the over 6.5. FanDuel has the best line on that, over 6.5 at plus 104, and that's what we're going to lock in. If you like this content, make sure to go back, look through our Mountain West and MAC videos, like this video, share it with your friends, hit the link tree in the profile, visit all our socials, and we'll see you next time.